Hey, I'm Sanjay. Welcome to Grad. Episode number 14, how teaching abroad can help you pay off your loans and thrive. Let's go. Olivia, welcome to Grad.
Thank you.
Yes, you're very. What are you up to right now? Because you seem very excited.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to
Oh.
you on Wise Grad, so that's exciting. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. It's great to
Yeah,
be here.
I'm very happy to have you here. Olivia also has a podcast, so you guys can check that out. I'll put the links for that in the description. She's also a very famous singer. But Olivia,
Um,
why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners of Wisegrad?
Hi, listeners. My name is Olivia, and I'm a teacher of English in Japan. I'm from the beautiful island of Jamaica,
Boop boop
and
boop. I can't say boop 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 too much. I did volleyball yesterday, and I'm in pain right now. So yeah.
you'll survive. You'll survive.
All right, tell some more.
And I've been living in Japan going on 6 years, I think 6 or 7 years, and
Wow.
it's been quite an experience. And it's one that I'm happy that I, chose to embark on. So yeah, yeah. Am I
Nice.
missing anything?
No, no, no. You also missed that you're a famous singer and you
Um,
have YouTube channel, you're popular on Instagram, all these things, but that's okay. If you
um,
don't want to put that in, it's fine.
No, I do want to put the podcast in. So, yes, please do follow us on YouTube at Olivia's Podcast. We have exciting topics every 2 weeks. So, yeah, thanks.
Nice. All right, so let's jump right into the meat of this episode. So many students or recent graduates have moved to Japan or want to move to Japan. And for many reasons, some like anime, some want the money. Let me just get right to it.
Yes. I don't know why you've been dancing around it.
some,
Yes,
some,
thanks.
some want some help with the
Mm-hmm.
student loan.
Right.
And so, Olivia, what's your story? Why did you move to Japan? And if you can say it's for the money. If it was for the money, you can be
Listen,
honest.
yeah, I'll just be honest. It was for the money. Honestly, Japan had not been on my radar at all. And but at the time I was considering, I don't like debt. So I was thinking of how it is that I
Yeah.
could repay my student loans as soon as possible
Hmm.
and just get myself out of that kind of financial bind. And I worked for a year in Jamaica, and then my best friend at the time, my best friend emailed me, said you should try this. There's an old girl from Queens who is there in Japan, and I'm like, all right, I'll try.
This is Queen's High School.
Yes, the Queen's school,
Okay.
dear, the Queen's
The
school.
Queen's School.
Thank
Sorry.
you, thank you, thank you. So, a friend of an old girl is here, and so I tried. Um, and I thought of the opportunity at the time, of course, to travel on the program that I traveled on. You
Yeah.
needed a certain startup, and within the year, I'd saved up a certain amount of money, but I also needed the help to be able to make the transition. But it was one that I wanted to explore, and I did, and I'm happy I did because, yeah, yeah.
But why did Japan become an option? I mean, there's USA, there's Trinidad and
Mhm,
Tobago, South
mhm,
Africa, United
mhm.
Kingdom, all the way to Japan. Like, how many miles is that? It's a lot. It's
It
far.
is. It's
It's
the
all like
farthest point on from Jamaica, and
there you
I
go. How why was Japan an option?
I never I did try other countries. I tried the USA. I sought other opportunities, but
Yeah.
Japan seemed to be easy at the time. So um, all you required was a degree and your ability to speak English, and I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
and other countries were asking for more, like a driver's license, or and I couldn't
I
drive at the
see.
time, or they were asking for certificates, and all I had was my degree. So,
Yeah.
the ease of access was one in terms of the required qualifications. Ease of
True.
access
I
was,
mean, I'm being a bit hypocritical here anyway,
yeah.
because if you know or you've been following my podcast for a while,
Hmm.
I lived in Japan too.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and I've met up with Olivia there before, so this isn't the first time we're interacting. But
Definitely not. Definitely not. We
I
have our
find
stories, but
yeah, I find it
what?
much better to for you to give your experience, a different point of view. I think your story
Yeah.
is probably more exciting than mine anyway.
Thanks,
So
thanks. But
so
I
you hopped on the plane
remembered,
and yeah,
yeah, I
go ahead.
remembered being my third year at university, second year at university at the time, and the then I think this was it for me. The then Minister of Education. I'm a trained teacher of English. The
Hmm.
then Minister of Education had made a comment that really was unsettling for many of us as teachers, which was,
Ah,
and at the
yikes!
time I don't know if you knew
Tell
of
me.
it, was, pardon me?
Which minister was this? Let
I don't
me
want
jump on Google
to,
right now.
don't
I
do
want
that.
to get
Don't,
into the
don't.
mix up. Yeah. What year
But
was this?
but it was in about 2011, 2012.
All right, 2011. Who was the
Yeah,
minister?
do your
Just to make
research.
note.
And a comment was, there were no more jobs for teachers. And I mean, I'm always trying to research whatever it is that I researched at the time, what it is that I wanted to study, because I didn't want to end up unemployed. And education was to me a lucrative
Hmm.
field. And
Wow.
then for a comment to be made from your Minister of Education,
He's
teachers, they
not the
won't be.
prime minister, isn't he?
No, he's not the present prime minister at all.
Wait, it's not him.
No, no,
Ah,
you'll have to Google it.
what?
But it was Reverend Ronnie Thwaites, I think, at the time.
Okay. All
Right.
right. There you go. All
And
right.
there was a big
Enough of me
fair
getting in the
too.
political mix up.
Right? Exactly. There was a big fair in Jamaica in terms of, I think there was one in Montego Bay, there was one in Kingston, where teachers, just um, went to these fairs and trying to sign up to find jobs. And I'm like, I'm not going to ever be in that rush. But it was that kind of uncertainty in the
Yeah.
profession at the
It's
time that kind
unnerving,
of,
isn't it?
it
Like makes
was.
you feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And
But
I just wanted a
what
way out.
what
Yeah.
gave you the confidence that Japan was going to be a way out or a big assistance to student loans, for example? What gave you that
Faith.
confidence?
Faith, honestly, because I really wasn't sure how it was going to work out.
Yeah.
I knew that the salary was much more than I was getting back home.
Hmm.
Um, and it was just, I always wanted to study, to travel too. That was kind of a motivation for me. But I I connected with persons who were here, and they kind of gave me an insight as to the job market and the salary, the cost of living, and so on and so forth. But being in Japan, you can be opportunities do open, because the English teaching profession, or the desire to speak English, is one that is growing here in Japan.
Yeah.
So once you remain qualified, you get yourself qualified, and you maintain a certain level of professionalism, and you network,
Aha.
right? People will be seeking you out, and then you will always have a source of income.
This sound
Because
like you have 10 jobs over there, though.
don't spill my own business.
So you're hustling. So I mean, so Japan is really a way out there. I mean, if you
it
can get
it
these
is
opportunities,
it is
as with
it
anywhere else, if you're professional
right.
and you build a good network.
Exactly. So when I came here in the first 6 or 7 months, it was hard. Not
Yeah.
lying. There was a time when there was there's one afternoon I remember I had my last transportation fare, and I had
Yeah.
to send my mom a message and say, Mom, I don't know how I'll be getting back to work tomorrow. And she had to run to the bank and put something on my card. And so there were times that it was hard. But I was so determined because going back was not an option for me. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? This, it was this or I don't know what else. So there was a time when it was hard, and then connections, the people you connect yourself with, that's also very important when you get here, because if you come with a mindset to repay your student loans, and then you connect yourself with persons who are always traveling, persons who are always going to the bars, you can be sidetracked, right? Because Japan is a melting pot of everything. Japan has
Everything,
everyone from
everything.
everywhere at
Yeah.
different stages of their careers and their lives. And so some
So
people,
distraction is easy to get distracted.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, if you truly don't know what it is that you're about. Um, and so you come here, and maybe someone who's in their 40s, they've worked in as a marketing manager of some company, and they just wanted a career break. And they
Hmm.
come here, and then you come now with your debt, connecting yourself with
Ah,
this
yes,
person.
yes, yes, yes.
And this
True.
person is traveling to Indonesia, Malaysia, Bali, and all over the place. And
So
you're like,
are you
oh,
saying that what's the saying again? It's not all that glitters is gold. So you're telling me that some of these Instagram posts that I see everyone living in up in Japan, it might not be so?
listen, it can be, it can be. I'm not saying you can't, but my word of caution is that people should ensure that they remember themselves when you get here,
It's
because
true.
you can get lost in the hype of things, because there is a lot glittering here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, it was very important to align myself with persons who were older than I am.
Yeah.
And they would say, okay,
So
Olivia,
that was me.
sure, sure, sure.
I'll take some seniority.
And they would say, ensure, Olivia, there's a part-time gig here. You want to try this? And so
Yeah.
I did, and I still do a lot of gigging, even with my main job, because I do want to ensure that Japan is what I want it to be, at the end of my time here. Things can happen, but as much as I can, I want to safeguard myself, in that regard. So,
All right.
yeah, yeah.
So getting rid of that student loan, and it was pretty easy because you're saying the salary that you had in Jamaica, it wasn't fantastic. And you said Japan was much better. So it sounds like your student loan you got rid of it in like 2 months. So I guess
Um,
everyone listening should
um,
definitely run to Japan. Pay your student
um,
loan in 2 months, guys.
slow down,
Yeah,
slow down, slow down.
is that too
That's
much?
not what I'm saying. I'm
No, I
saying,
mean, I want to hear your experience because actually,
all
for
right.
me, I didn't have a student loan debt. So just as you said,
Mm-hmm.
people come with different experiences. I was just
Exactly.
there as a blank slate, pretty much. So
Exactly. You
there
see,
was nothing
and
in my
then
head.
maybe I would align myself with a Sanjay and travel all over the
Yeah,
place
and
and
travel, and then I'm not paying any loans or anything,
and forget
So
my
yeah,
responsibilities.
exactly.
Okay, so what I did, and I'm just gonna be transparent. In my seventh or eighth month here,
Yeah.
I started finding part-time jobs. And what
Hmm.
I did, and I came with Interact, but in a year and 8 months, I switched to work directly with the Board of Education. Now,
Uh-huh.
those jobs you can't apply directly to outside of Japan. You have to
Oh
be
yes,
here to
yes,
get
yes.
some of those jobs. So when you work with a Board of Education, you get your full salary versus
Yeah.
when you work for a private recruiting
Oh,
company,
they take out some stuff out of it.
they take a percentage.
Yeah,
So
they do that. So be prepared for that. That happened to me.
right, right. So when you come, do come with these recruiters or with Jet or what have you. Actually, Jet gives you your full salary,
Yeah, Jack gives
um,
full.
but you are not allowed to do extra jobs with Jet.
Uh-huh.
So that's something to consider: the company and the restrictions and the benefits, etc. So I started working directly with a board, and that with that salary, I was able to say, okay, each month I am again disciplining yourself. Each
Yeah.
month I'm paying, say, 500 US, 50,000 Jamaican. And I did that for about maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And within that time, I was able to complete my payments.
Okay,
Whew.
that's fantastic. That's
And
fantastic.
while
I mean, before going to Japan, I almost ended up working at this. I got turned down at because
mhm,
right after graduating, it's difficult to find a job.
find a
And I
job,
applied to
right?
a call center, and they said no. And I was like, what?
Close, no is a no is a door, is an opportunity for a yes. So
It's
see, here
probably
you
the best
are.
no I've ever gotten in my life.
Exactly. I was
Like,
turned down
thank you for
too.
saying no.
I was turned down too. You
Look at
know.
that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I applied. Well, at the time, I could not secure a loan for for university, and I thought, okay, let me
I
work at a
see.
call center,
Yeah.
and I was turned down. So that was,
They told both of us, no,
destiny.
look at us now,
Look
call
at us
centers who said no.
now.
Look at us now. It's
Right,
probably
and
motivation
so
because there's some students out there who are probably struggling too and also got turned
listen,
down. But many times we
listen.
have this small
Mm,
world view and we don't want to
yes,
broaden our
yes,
wings or go beyond
yes.
USA, Canada, and UK. Oh my
Hmm.
God.
And there will be persons who would say, where are you going? Be very. I've always been a strong-willed person. You know,
Yeah,
be sure of what you want.
true.
Listen
And
to the voice in your head. If you're a person of faith,
hallelujah,
amen.
yes.
Yeah, amen.
I
If you're
agree
a
with you
person of
100.
faith, stand your ground in your faith. And I remember when even my mom tried to dissuade me. And even my
Ah,
mom, yeah. Hi, mom.
what? Wait, your mom heard that you're gonna make lots of money in Japan
Uh,
and she said no?
well, she found every negative thing. She's like, "Oh, they have earthquakes. Oh, and my mom knows
Oh yeah, my
no,
mom
they
did
have
that.
nothing. She's like, "Oh, they have earthquakes. Olivia, what are you doing?" My
Uh,
dad, he will take the risk. And so he was very nervous, but he
yeah.
also knew me. He knows me, and I'm much like him.
Mm,
And so
I
my
see.
mom, she tried to sow seeds of doubt, but I'm like
Oh,
that. If I say I'm going to do something, she knows it too.
I see. I see. I think
And
my mom was pretty much like, go, go, go.
really,
From my
wow,
memory, it
wow,
was more me in the last
yeah,
month before going.
yeah,
I got really nervous because it was actually happening. And one fortunate thing was that one of my best friends, she's Carisha, she's there.
uh-huh.
And I mean, what's a nice way to put this? She was kind of a guinea pig of all the friends because she was
Yeah,
the first close friend to go. Like the lab rat, she went and she was like, "It's good,
yeah,
everything's
right,
fine." And then
right,
we said,
right,
"All
right.
right, all right, I can go too."
But then that's the thing. Even the person was connected with here, I didn't know her initially coming here.
Aha,
So someone just heard that I was coming and was like, okay, I know this person who is there. Let me connect you to her. So it
yeah,
was really just a leap of faith. Actually, the first night I got to Japan, I sat on my bed and I cried
wow,
because it was so overwhelming. The language, the I
yeah,
but that was the first and the last time I cried about it because I sat on my bed, I thought about it, it's like, there's no way you're gonna go back. You can't go back. As a matter of fact, you can't even afford to go back.
I was
So
about to say that because that hit me in my first week. I was like, if I'm supposed to go back, I pretty much can't because it'll be so expensive. Then
exactly,
I would be in debt,
exactly. So I sat on my
and
bed and I
everybody would be ashamed.
cried, and my thing was they would win. They're not
Yeah,
gonna win. Nope, nope, nope. So
you got emotional the
I
first night
cried
there.
because I had two
Wow.
big suitcases and my carry-on, and I was trying to lug myself through. It was all Japanese. Imagine
Yeah,
just seeing characters and they're supposed to be
everything,
words,
and you don't.
and
It's like you go back to being 1 year old or 2 year old. You
yes,
can't
as an
read
as an adult,
anything
right?
as an
As an
adult. Can't
adult.
read.
And
Yeah.
no, I do sympathize with persons and empathize with persons who are illiterate because it's truly a frightening experience. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it was humbling for me.
What? I prayed the most, and but even because Japan is, I wouldn't have tried this in any other country. Japan is very warm, and the people are helpful. Not saying there aren't
Yeah.
bad things around, but that was very comforting for me because persons would walk up to me, and even now people come to me, are you lost, because you will always look like a
Aww.
foreigner here, right?
Yeah.
So they would come, daijoubu desu ka, are you okay? And um and at that time I would just show them the map because I didn't have a phone or anything yet. So I would just show
Uh-huh.
them the map and show them where I'm going, and they literally walked with me to the hotel,
Ah,
or they
yes, yes,
walked,
that happens.
right, they walked with me to the buildings. They were just, they're very helpful and kind people, so that helped a lot. I couldn't imagine trying that life in another country where, people are not as gentle or patient with you. So
Yeah.
that was very, very helpful. And amidst the fact that many people come here not knowing the language, and I still don't know the language very well.
Let's hear some Japanese, by the way. Let's take a short break and
What?
hear Olivia speaking some Japanese. Let's go. Let me hear some stuff. Let me hear some stuff.
What do you want to hear? I can't. Don't do that. Don't.
Introduce yourself in Japanese.
皆さん、こんにちは。私の名前
Konnichiwa.
はオリビアです。よろしくお願いします。
Hey, sugoi ne? Sugoi. Very good.
Oh, yeah, facts.
Everyone, she just said she likes chocolate milk.
No, I didn't. But I do like chocolate milk. I
That's
said,
good. It's
hello,
good.
my name is Olivia, and nice to meet you.
Nice
Yeah,
to meet
but
you too.
but I'm happy that I took the leap of
Did I
faith,
just say nice to
and
meet you too?
I
I was
I'm
saying it on
happy I
behalf
did
of the
it.
listeners.
Nice to meet you too. Okay.
Well, you happy you took the leap of faith?
Yeah, and in terms of, because as I said, I'm a trained teacher of English, so it
Mhm.
has set me on a different path, a different trajectory in terms of my area of specialization. So even whilst I was here, I did my master's online.
Listen, Olivia has so many things up her sleeve. She's a multi talented individual who's making the most of her life in Japan. And I'm happy that she took the time to share this with us. But that's all we can put into one episode. You know, I have to make it bite size. So you just take a small bite now, but part 2 will be posted later. So share this with your friends. Please tell them to subscribe to Wise Grad. You can support the podcast by heading to wisegrad.org and clicking support. It's at the bottom of the page, or you can send an email to info@wisegrad.org. Until the next episode is posted, it will also be on YouTube, so you can see the uncut version. Thank you so much for checking out our Instagram, the website, the Twitter, everything. It's WiseGrad. It's amazing. You guys are fantabulous. So thank you so much, and thank you for clicking play and not clicking next. Until next time, goodbye.